Imagine this. You've set an intention. Maybe it's money flowing more freely into your life. Maybe it's love, the kind of love that makes you feel deeply seen. Or maybe it's health, waking up with energy, clarity, and vitality that feels unstoppable. And after you've set that intention, nothing seems to happen. The world looks the same. The days pass the same. A little voice inside you whispers, maybe this manifestation thing isn't working. Maybe it's all in my head. But what if I told you? The signs are already there. What if your manifestation has already left the quantum field and is making its way to you, even if you don't see it yet? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share 3 subtle but powerful signs that your manifestation is already unfolding. And these aren't vague, feel-good signs. They're grounded in what science knows about energy, attention, and the quantum nature of reality. But first, let me take you somewhere. In 1909, Nikola Tesla wrote, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." More than a century later, physics finally caught up. We now know that everything, your body, your thoughts, even your emotions, is energy vibrating at different frequencies. So when you set an intention, you're not begging the universe. You're tuning your frequency. You're aligning yourself with a possibility that already exists. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think manifestations arrive like a package on your doorstep. One moment you don't have it, the next moment you do. But in reality, there's a process, a buildup. Reality begins whispering to you long before it shouts. So let's dive into sign number 1. The first sign your manifestation is already on its way is this: synchronicities multiply. You think about someone, and suddenly they call you. You're considering starting a business, and the next day, you overhear a conversation that gives you exactly the idea you needed. You start seeing repeating numbers: 111, 222, 777, popping up everywhere. Now, skeptics say, that's just your brain noticing patterns. But here's what they miss. Your brain isn't a passive machine. Neuroscience tells us your reticular activating system filters reality based on what you believe is important. When you set an intention, your brain literally rewires what it notices, aligning you with opportunities that were invisible before. But even deeper than that, quantum physics shows that observation changes outcomes. Attention is not passive, it influences. So when you're noticing synchronicities, it's not just coincidence, it's evidence. Your energy and your attention are reshaping the field. That's why mystics and scientists alike agree, coincidence is just the universe choosing to remain anonymous. But that's only the beginning. Because sign number 2 is stranger, more subtle, and even more powerful. It's resistance. Yes, when your manifestation is close, resistance often spikes. Old doubts resurface. Unexpected challenges appear. You feel a pull back into your comfort zone. Why? Because the subconscious hates change. Think about it. If you've lived years believing money is hard, or love is rare, or health is fragile, your subconscious has built a fortress around those beliefs. The moment a new frequency starts to land, the old system fights back. It's not punishment, it's proof. The closer you are to breakthrough, the louder the resistance gets. And here is the twist. Research on brain plasticity shows that when new neural connections are being wired, old ones destabilize. In other words, when reality is shifting, things can feel unstable. That wobble isn't failure, it's transformation. So if you're facing resistance right now, don't panic. Celebrate it. It's not a wall, it's a signpost. You're close. And that brings us to the third sign. But before I reveal it, let me pause here. Because this is where most people give up. They see synchronicities and think, cool coincidence. They hit resistance and think, see, it's not working. And in doing so, they miss the most important stage of manifestation, the bridge between the invisible and the visible. That's why you need to hear sign number 3. But before we get there, take a breath, slow, deep, because what I am about to share isn't just information. It's the key to holding on when most people let go. So let's talk about sign number 3. It's not something you can see. It's not something you can touch. It's something you feel. The third sign your manifestation is already on its way is this: a sudden sense of inner calm. That doesn't quite make sense. It can happen in a small moment. You're driving home and notice a strange peace wash over you. Or you're brushing your teeth at night and for no reason at all, you feel as if things are already okay. As if, somehow, it's already done. Now your mind might argue. It says, wait, you don't have the money yet. You don't have the relationship yet. You're still waiting for the test results. But your body knows. Your heart knows. This moment of inexplicable calm is not random. It's coherence. HeartMath Institute, in its decades of research, has shown that when your heart and brain are in sync, your electromagnetic field becomes measurable. Coherence isn't imagination. It's a state where your body is literally broadcasting harmony into the field around you. And here's the kicker. When coherence shows up, reality mirrors it back. So if you've ever felt that deep, unexplainable calm, the kind that doesn't fit your current circumstances, don't ignore it. That's not emptiness. That's arrival. It's your subconscious confirming the work is already done. Now let's pause here because this is the part most people miss. They expect manifestations to come with fireworks, lightning bolts, signs in the sky. But in truth, the universe whispers. It whispers in synchronicity. It whispers in resistance. It whispers in calm. And if you can learn to trust those whispers, you stop living in doubt and start living in alignment. But I want to share something with you, and I'll say this softly, like a nudge from a friend. There's a book I once came across, not a bestseller on some shelf, but something more like a hidden guide passed from one curious mind to another. It's called The Quantum Bridge, a field guide to the 7 keys of reality creation. It doesn't scream for attention. It invites you in quietly, like a secret. And inside, it connects science and spirit in a way that helps you not just understand, but actually live this alignment. If you've ever wanted a practical way to track your synchronicities, rewire your patterns, and lean into coherence, it's one of those rare things that stays with you. The link's in the description and comments. If you're ready, you'll know. Now, back to you. Because here, and yes, the truth, manifestation isn't about asking for things you done to have. It's about remembering that reality is already happening through you. Think of it like music. When an orchestra tunes up, it can sound chaotic at first. Notes clashing, strings out of sync, brass blaring. But when the conductor lifts their hand and the first harmony rings out, suddenly you realize all those little dissonant pieces were lining up. Synchronicities? That's the violins tuning. Resistance? That's the brass testing the notes. Calm? That's the moment the first chord strikes and the music begins. And once you hear that first chord, you know the symphony is already in motion. So maybe right now you've been seeing repeating numbers. Maybe you've been bumping into strange coincidences that feel too perfect to ignore. Maybe you've been hit with unexpected challenges that almost made you doubt yourself. Or maybe, just maybe, you've felt that deep calm out of nowhere. Don't mistake these for random. They're not. They're proof. Proof that your manifestation isn't coming someday. It's coming now. It's already in motion. And here's the most important thing I'll leave you with in this section. Hold the frequency. When synchronicity shows up, smile. When resistance shows up, breathe. When calm arrives, trust it. Because each of those moments is a signpost on the path. And if you keep walking, the path always leads to arrival. Now here's where we take everything we've covered, synchronicity, resistance, and calm, and we weave it into something even more powerful. Because knowing the signs is only the first step. Living inside them is where manifestation becomes inevitable. Let's go deeper. When you see synchronicity, it's not just a wink from the universe, it's feedback. Think of it like a GPS recalculating. Every time you notice one of those repeating patterns, it's a checkpoint telling you you're aligned. When you face resistance, it's not punishment, it's friction. And friction means movement. No rocket launches without resistance. The pushback you feel is the exact force that propels you into orbit. And when you feel that calm, that strange, unshakable knowing, that's the arrival signal. The package isn't out for delivery. It's already in your hands, even if your senses haven't caught up yet. The key is integration. Science gives us a clue here. In quantum physics, they talk about wave function collapse. Until observed, reality exists in a cloud of probabilities, infinite possibilities, all waiting. But the moment attention is applied, the wave collapses into form. Your attention is the observer. Your belief is the force. And your emotional alignment, the coherence we talked about, that's the glue that locks the wave into your chosen outcome. So when you see the signs, your job isn't to second guess. Your job is to observe with certainty, to hold the frequency, to live as if it's already real. Because in a very real way, it already is. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who dreamed of creating a life of abundance. For months he set intentions, visualized, affirmed. But nothing changed. He was ready to quit. Until one day, driving home, he saw 3 license plates in a row, 888. Then his phone buzzed. A friend he hadn't really spoken to in years was calling about a job opportunity, and as he answered, that same calm washed over him. At that moment, he realized it wasn't about the job. It wasn't even about the number 888. It was about trust. The universe wasn't testing him, it was inviting him. The signs weren't random, they were a bridge. He took the job. 6 months later, he wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. Now, you might say, that's just a story. But here's the thing. Every great transformation begins with one. And right now, you're writing yours. Maybe your sign isn't numbers. Maybe it's music that keeps repeating at the right moment. Or strangers who say the exact words you needed to hear. Or challenges that force you to grow stronger than you thought you could. They're all the same signal. Reality shifting in your favor. But here's the secret most people miss. Manifestation isn't about waiting. It's about becoming. When you act as if it's already true, you send out the frequency of completion. And the universe responds. Because energy doesn't lie. Quantum physics tells us particles respond to expectation. Psychology tells us the subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and memory. Which means that every time you live as if it's already here, you are collapsing the wave. You're pulling the invisible into the visible. So the question isn't, when will my manifestation arrive? The question is, am I willing to believe it already has? Because when you do, when you trust the synchronicities, embrace the resistance and rest in the calm, you're no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You're shaping it. You're participating in the quantum dance of creation. And maybe that's the real gift. Not the money, not the love, not even the health, but the realization that you are not powerless. You are not separate. You are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. So the next time a sign appears, don't dismiss it. Whisper, thank you. The next time resistance rises, smile and say, I'm close. And the next time calm washes over you, breathe it in fully, because in that moment, you'll know your manifestation isn't coming. It's here. And if this resonated with you, if you felt that subtle shift inside while listening, make sure you subscribe. Not just because it helps this channel, but because it means you're choosing to stay in the frequency of possibility. Together, we'll keep exploring these mysteries. Together, we'll keep decoding the whispers of reality.